Have you ever wanted to talk to the internet? I'll answer that for you. The answer is yes. You might not have known that you want to do that. You know, people don't really know what they want. Back in the day, before the internet, if you were to tell somebody, like, do you want the internet? They'd be like, no. It's like, what is that? Like, no, I guess, it sounds complicated. No, I don't. And then even if you were to tell somebody what it was, like, maybe they'd use it, people, but people don't realize, like, what a breakthrough it really was. And that's kind of the same thing when I'm like, do you want to be able to talk to the internet? You do. You don't realize that you do, but you do. I'm going to tell you something that changes everything. I'm going to teach you how to easily do something that changes everything. This is like a new toy that everybody's going to want to play with. And it's like, okay, so I'm going to give it to you right here now. It's free. You don't even have to go out and buy it. You don't even have to wait for it to get shipped to you. You can just open it up on your phone. Like the AI imaging thing, when I first learned of that was so entertaining by itself. You could just ask it something and it gives you a picture of it. It's like, okay, that kept me entertained. Like, I'm still entertained by it. Like, it's kept me entertained indefinitely. It'll entertain me probably for the rest of my life. But now that this text bot thing, when I first heard of it, I thought, okay, I'm cool with the voice synthesizers, and I'm cool with the AI imaging, because I'm a visual person. I think that it's cool that it can make art for me. I don't think that I'm going to use this texting thing like I'm a visual person, not a words person. But I didn't realize what this thing was. No, I am a words person because I'm a human being and I speak English. Okay, so I didn't realize that this thing is the next level of technology. Okay, no, I do want to use this thing. No, everybody wants this thing. Hopefully they don't start charging for this. And hopefully I'm going to be the first person to, like, make a video like this or whatever, because it's already started. And after this, after today, I know that I'm getting a late start already. So it's like this is going to explode. And I'm trying to get, I know that I'm a little early for once. And so if I put this out quick enough, it's like, this is going to explode. And I'm trying to get my fame off of this. I'm trying to, but because everybody's going to use this, everybody's going to want to know about this. I'm going to tell you something that everybody is going to want to know. Because AI is changing the game. Like, you guys thought that technology was taking jobs before. Like, this is the beginning of the end. Like, the beginning of the end happened, literally a week ago or whatever. Or I don't even know how long this chatbot's been out or whatever. I'm sure that you've heard about this, but I'm going to tell you why you want to know more about it, and I'm going to teach you how to use it very easily, because it's already changed my life. So, this chatbot AI, okay? You might have heard of it, but I'm going to tell you why it is the next best thing. It is an evolution in the internet. I've messed enough around with it already to where it is something that everybody's going to use, or something is going to off branch of this that, but this is the beginning of the next best thing. It's like just as big as a breakthrough of the internet itself. Or, you know what? The internet was a breakthrough. Oh, and then Google was a breakthrough. Like Google, that's like a verb or whatever. Like Google it. Like it's a whole thing. It's like Google is synonymous with the internet in some people's minds, or, and Google changed everything for everybody. It's like, oh, we have the world in our pocket because of Google, kind of in a way, Oh, we just ask a question and we get answers. But you want to know what's funny? Is that's not really true though, is it? Because if it was really like that, things would be insane. If I could really just Google a question and get answers, but it's not really like that, though, in reality. But now it is. So this chatbot is pretty much like a Google that can respond. So I have stopped using Google. That's what's so funny, is this has replaced Google already for a lot of things in my mind. Because every time I go to Google something, there's been times where I think I'm going to have to be weeding through videos or weaving through articles, or I'm going to have to really be careful what I click and try to find, if I'm looking for a very specific computer problem or a very specific thing with a program that I know is a super specific thing, or something that's so specific that you're like, I can't Google and get the answer to that. Now you can. So I'm going to tell you a few things that you can do to your computer right now that'll change your internet experience drastically. If you have a computer desktop at home, or if you have a laptop, or maybe you could even do this with your phone, there's a few things that you can download. I'm pretty sure they're even free. But okay, so there's a few things, and they're all AI-based, just about, and it'll change everything. Okay, so for the people that don't know, I'm going to tell you about a few things it's a way of utilizing technology. It's like, because we have all this technology, and it's going out of our hands so fast. So I'm going to tell you about a few things that by themselves are awesome, and either one just by themselves is something that you might be like, oh, that's actually awesome. Maybe I'll just use that. But then together, when you put all of them together, it's like, man, this technology thing really is coming to a head. Oh yeah, a few other things I was going to say. So, this thing types out long responses sometimes. But, so something that's interesting though, is that if you just get a microphone, or I think that even just this camera has a microphone, I just don't use it. So if you have a desktop, I mean, some laptops might come with microphones or whatever, but if you just get a microphone for your computer, that by itself is something that's so useful, it's ridiculous. One day I had this thought, why do I type anything? Why can't I just talk into this? Because I do that on my phone sometimes, because I talk into it and it types, and sometimes I have to edit it or whatever, but I'm like, why can't I do that with my computer? But so you can. You just get one of these, it's like 10, 20 bucks or whatever, and it saves so much finger tension and wrist tension and all this shit. And you can get your ideas better out when you can just talk and you don't have to think about typing. And so that's what this all comes full circle to, is if you really want to get the best experience out of this text AI thing, get a microphone and utilize Google Text-to-Speech, because, for now, that's the best software of that. So if you don't want to read anything ever again, Google Text-to-Speech is your best friend. That should be also bookmarked on your home screen, because anytime you come across somebody sending you a long message, or even terms and services, let's say that you have a terms and service agreement that you actually want to read, but you're like, oh, it's 50 pages. I don't want to read that. Click, copy, and paste it into Google Text-to-Speech. If it's super long, it might take a second for it to, But yeah, if you ever have any instructions that you don't want to read, or if you have a long message, or if this AI bot gives you a really long response to something, you can copy and paste it into that. But not only that, it's also awesome because that gives it a voice. Instead of having to read its responses, it's cool to be able to copy its responses and paste it into Google Text-to-Speech, because that way when you do that, it can just say it. And so you don't have to read its responses. You can just hear it talking back to you. You know what I mean? So that's also an awesome thing. But yeah, you can also make that so that it's like it's on your Facebook. It types out everything that, you really don't have to type. And it's funny because these microphones and these AI programs that go to your microphone and your computer, you can get ones that get better at recognizing your voice and being able to, as you go back and correct it, it learns that. But it's weird, dude. So yeah, you get the Google Text-to-Speech. Yeah, you get the AI bot. And so yeah, you can just start asking questions about shit that you've wanted to know your whole life. You can just ask it. And then just Google, copy and paste the answer. And then you can just hear it.
Say something.
Sure, here's a statement. The weather today is sunny and warm, with temperatures expected to reach the mid-70s. It is a beautiful day to be outside and enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else I can help with?
Not right now, thanks.
You're welcome. If you have any other questions in the future, don't hesitate to ask.
You don't even have to fucking read anymore. You don't even have... And that's another thing, is if you have a microphone, you don't even have to type. Let's say that you have all these questions for this AI bot, but you can't type fast enough because you have too many questions. Microphone, dude. Yeah, so this AI bot that just knows everything. So, okay, yeah, you don't even have to type anymore. And you don't even have to read anymore. You can just ask it a question with the microphone, and you can just listen to its response. When you get these 3 programs or whatever and you put it together and you realize that, it's really interesting and it's really fun and cool. You're like, oh, I can just ask it a question, and it's pretty much like a conversation at that point. You can just have a conversation with the internet, and that's why I'm making a whole new channel called Conversations with the Internet, because it's actually pretty fucking hilarious, and it's really ridiculous, and it's awesome. And I need to shut up and just post this video because it's crazy. You can get a VR headset, and you can get Unreal Engine for your computer, and you can just have a matrix that you can design in your room, and you can make virtual reality video games in your room by yourself, dude. And you want to know what's funny? You know what's insane about that, and it all comes full circle, is you think, oh, even if I had that program, how would I ever go about making my own virtual reality video game, or just making my own virtual world with its own physics in my room by myself? How would I ever go about doing that? Wouldn't it be funny if you could just Google something like that and get an answer? And so it's funny, you go on this chatbot thing, and you could ask it step by step exactly how those programs work. It's a teacher, it's a Google, it's all these things. It'll walk you through it. If you have questions, it'll answer it. It won't be like, I don't know, because it knows. It won't divert you to another website because it is the website. It scans the internet and it talks to you. It's literally like if you just could walk up to Google and Google was a person, and you're just like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And it just scans the internet and just tells you the answer. It's literally like a godlike little alien in your pocket that you can just whip out a little alien and you're just like, hey, and you can just ask it and it just tells you an unbiased factual source. And it's fucking insane. And it's funny because I even think that it's an Elon Musk thing or something, which is like, oh, now half the people hate it. But no. It just kind of furthers my point that there's some genius design behind this thing, because this thing's insane. I've had philosophical debates with this thing already, and it's to the point where I'm like, okay, this thing is a moneymaker, for sure. I don't know how or why, but this thing is going to start businesses for people. This is going to start a whole thing. This is going to start, people are going to be able to use this for so many things. Like, I literally was just like, hey, write me, my English paper. I looked at my old high school curriculum and I was like, write me a 5-page essay on The Great Gatsby and make it just a summary of it and make it detailed and make it seem like you read the book and make it like an A+ paper. I wrote my whole English paper in 45 seconds and I looked at it and I was just like, it needs to be longer, make it more detailed. And just did it. It was the funniest thing in the world. And it's funny because you can even use stupid, sloppy language and it'll understand what you mean. You can even spell things wrong. You can even not use correct punctuation. You can even not really convey your idea that well. And it will still figure out what the you're saying. And it's funny. It'll just write your 5-page paper of The Great Gatsby in less than a minute. And it's funny because you're like, okay, well, if it did that, what about, okay, a college PhD thesis about the study of cancer over the years? A 20-page document? And it just appears, dude. That I don't know how is possible, but I watched it happen, and it's funny because I didn't read the whole thing, but I skimmed it and I looked at this, and then I asked afterwards. I was like, is all of that true? And that would pass in a class, and all that's factual, and you're not just. And it's like, yeah. I was like, how are you typing so fast? And it's funny, yeah, you can even just have a conversation with it. You're like, what are your sources? That's the funniest thing. A big perk about this thing is it's like a Google where you can just be like, prove that. Like, you can say something, and it'll give you an answer, and you can be like, prove that. Or where did you hear that? Or what are your sources? And it'll tell you. And it's so crazy because it all goes back to the Twitter thing and the free speech thing. And I was like, is this really the AI chatbot that's run by Elon Musk? Because that's really interesting, because this thing is really going to be, this is mind blowing. And this is going to be the next best thing. And it's so weird that the whole free speech debate is happening with Twitter and Elon Musk. And now there's this chatbot that can just give you the answers to things and fact check things. And you can just ask it anything and it just gives it to you. And if you can fact check it and you can be like, where'd you get that? And it does so many different things that it's ridiculous. And I was like, okay, how am I going to become a millionaire off this? I need to realize how I need to manipulate this immediately to become a millionaire. And you know what? I realized that I am going to start a whole separate channel because of this thing. And it's going to be called Conversations with the Internet, because me and this thing have had some conversations, and I'm like, oh God, that's its own TV show. That I'm straight up, I called that. That's my idea. Nobody take it. This thing, even though I only have 4 subscribers and I'm an absolute nobody, I said it first. It's my idea. These things are time stamped. You know what? It was my idea and I had it first. Even though I'm a nobody and it doesn't matter, I had the idea first. Okay, I'm gonna do it first. Conversations with the Internet. Me talking to this AI bot because it's so funny. You know what? I love debating so much, and I was never on the speech debate team in school or anything, but as a person with no debate experience, or just a person that thinks he knows everything, or as a person that just knows it all, it's really funny to like pit me again in a debate against the ultimate competitor, the internet. Yeah. Who's gonna win? Me. Just come watch. Yeah, tune in and see how I win. Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna win a debate against the internet, Kyle. No, it's funny though, because I straight up sort of did Ponent in this first one. And it's because I already have a first episode to my new TV show, because it's already happening. That is going to be a whole separate subsection of my channel, or a whole different thing, whether I want it to be or not. Conversations with the Internet, because that's the thing I'm just doing now. It's funny, every time I have a question about anything, I'm not going to Google now, I'm going to this thing. anytime my editing program's fucking with me, I go straight to this thing and I say, hey, DaVinci Resolve, this thing's fucking with me. What's going on? And it just tells me. I don't have to click on a link to anything. I don't know, and it's insane because it can do everybody's going to want to use this. It's not just for this or that thing. It's literally like the brand new Google. And yeah, where do I find it? Google it. Because it's just openAI chatbot. Yeah, Google it. Put a bookmark that so that you can click on it just like it's a Google thing or whatever. If I could replace my Google home screen with that, I would. And it's probably going to be an option here in about a month. Dude, watch, because this thing's so useful, it's ridiculous. And so, yeah, you can literally just be like, what is the movie where they said blah, 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 blah. And it'll be like, this scene, this movie, right here, this time. Here's even maybe a YouTube video link that goes to it. And it's crazy because that's not something you can do with Google. Or you can just be like, hey, write me a rap about, this is something I actually did, write me a rap about playing basketball in space, but each verse is by a different superhero. And was it the worst rap ever? Oh yeah, dude. I could have done better without trying. But it did it. It took the format and it did it. And it might have been the most bullshit excuse of it ever, but it did it. And it's so funny because you can be like, do way better. And it can just do a better one. Like straight up. And it's funny because, yeah, I did that a few times. I was like, well, that sucks. Can you put more effort into it? And it does. It does. And it's so funny because, dude, yeah, everybody's going to be talking. Like, I'm such an antisocial person. It's like I forget how entertaining it is just having a conversation with something that has a brain. It's so funny because, yeah, it's like, yeah, I was talking to this thing all night. Just like, it's like, what is love? It's like, it's like, how do I tell if I'm gay? How can I tell if I'm a woman trapped in a man's body? How do I know for sure that that's not the case? I was talking to this thing all night, dude. And it's so funny because this thing that I'm going to post is the first episode. It's like a whole philosophical debate. And it's so funny because there's miscommunications about certain sciencey things. And it's so funny because sometimes I think, oh, where did I hear this? Oh, I wish I could quote this because I swear that it was like a sciencey paper that I heard about where they quoted this thing. And it's like I have in my mind a bajillion frayed fragments of all these things, but I have no idea where they go or what they are, where I heard them. But now this thing, as I'm talking, having a debate with this thing, I can be like, oh, but I heard that blah, 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 blah. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, there actually was this study, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, oh, why didn't you mention that? That's really interesting. And it's fucking really weird because, yeah, now it can bring up all these things and you can ask things about things and you can recall things. And it's like, and this thing is just, it's what you want Google to be, or it's what you want the internet to be. It's like, we always say, oh, you have the world in your pocket now that you have a smartphone. That only is just now true. Like, this is the missing piece of that puzzle to the internet for that to be true. And it's insane. And I have to just shut up and post this video because it's gonna, it's fucking crazy, dude. It's like, yeah, I don't even know. No, just kidding. But you know what I mean? There's I can foresee a lot of problems. The world is, I'm concerned, I'm definitely concerned about the world. So, hold on, the ride's getting bumpy. But, it's a little scary and concerning. But anyways, yeah, life's a trip, so don't trip out too much, but stay safe and deuces.